My name is Jenna and welcome to day 7 of the Because We Can Readathon round 4. This is our final day of the readathon. Your host for today is everybody, and today's challenge was inspired by the show Never Have I Ever. Once again, I haven't actually seen this show, but I have heard fantastic things, and it just got picked up for a 3rd season, so clearly it's pretty good. Netflix have a tendency to cancel shows before they should, and this one has managed to keep going, so I'm fairly confident that it's probably a really good show. If you don't know the game, Never Have I Ever is basically where you have a list of things that you either could or couldn't have done, and when someone says, never have I ever done this, you either say, yes, I've done it, or no, I haven't. So for example, someone could say, never have I ever skipped school, and if you have done that, you say, yep, I've done it, and if you haven't, you just sit there and silently judge the people who have. So for this round of the Because We Can Readathon, I found a bookish version of the game, which I will leave a link to in the description box below. Also, all 3 of your hosts did this together over Zoom, which will be linked in the description box below. It was hilarious, so definitely check that one out and be sure to check out my video right now. Question number 1. Never have I ever read a later book in a series before reading the first book. I feel like this happened a lot when I was younger, particularly when I was in primary school and I was reading a lot of, you know, Babysitter's Club books, Trixie Belden books, the Emily Rodda stuff. A lot of that, it was hard to get your hands on the first in a series, so I just sort of read whatever the library, either my public one or the one at school had, and that happened a lot. I feel like that actually happened a lot, but if I'm going to talk about recent series, then probably no. I'm really not sure. Question number 2. Never have I ever burned a book. Yeah, I have definitely never burned a book before. I kind of want to. I feel like there would definitely be some books that I had that I would have loved to have burned. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf comes to mind, but I ended up donating that one. So no, I have not ever burned a book, but I won't say that I would never give it a go. Question number 3. Never have I ever read a book I knew I would hate. I've read a lot of books I knew I would hate. Almost all of them are uni books. I went into them knowing that I wouldn't enjoy them because they're classics and I'm not really into it. The Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf is one of them, as is the Wide Sargasso Sea. Can't remember who that one is by, but I knew I'd hate that one going in. And there's just a couple other books that I just had a feeling that I was absolutely going to really dislike when I started reading them, but I pushed through and came out the other side hating them anyway. Number 4. Never have I ever wrote a fan fiction about my favourite books. I literally have an entire playlist on my channel dedicated to me reading the fan fictions of books that I wrote. I mean, the majority of the fan fictions that I wrote were actually about TV shows and movies and whatnot, but like I wrote a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction in high school. So yeah, I've definitely written fan fiction before. Number 5. Never have I ever loved a book when I was young, yet hated it when I got older. Oh. I have not. I don't think so. At least none of them. Nothing really comes to mind about something that I read when I was younger and now I hate it. Literally nothing comes to mind because everything I read when I was younger was like Babysitter's Club, Harry Potter, the Enid Blyton books, Trixie Belden, all those sort of things, and like I still love all of that. So I'm gonna say that I have not, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I have not. Number 6. Never have I ever dressed up as one of my favourite literary characters. Dressed up as a lot of literary characters, so I dressed up as Andromeda Tonks from the Harry Potter series when I went to the midnight screening of Deathly Hallows Part 2. I mean, just for these readathons, I've dressed up as a bunch of characters. I mean, you know, I dressed up as Katniss and Marianne and Geralt and a bunch of other people. So yeah, I'm gonna say I've definitely dressed up as my favorite literary characters. It's just, I feel like it just comes with the territory of BookTube. Number 7. Never have I ever hated a book by an author I love. Oh. I don't think so. I'm trying to think about books that I hated and whether or not I loved the authors. I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, I mean, yes, but also no. So I hated Losing Brave by Bailey Madison and Stephanie Miller, but I love Bailey Madison, but she didn't really write the book. She just sort of came up with the concept, so I don't feel like that counts. So I'm gonna say that I've not. I'm gonna say no, but I'm not entirely sure, which is kind of stressful. But I don't think so. I'm trying to think of all the books that I hate and whether or not, what have I even given 2 stars to? Never given anything 1 star. Oh, actually, no, yes, I have hated a book by an author that I love. I really disliked Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertelli, but I loved Simon and The Upside of Unrequited. So yes, I have hated a book by an author that I love. Number 8, never have I ever gone into a bookstore to buy one book and come out with many more. I mean, haven't we all done that at one time or another? Like, I feel like this is the only answer acceptable for anyone who is on BookTube. Anyone who loves books. This is the only acceptable answer. Number 9, never have I ever read the ending of a book before reading the beginning. I have, actually. I remember this one really vividly because it was in high school and we had just gone to the library window to pick up our group book for English, like the book we were going to be studying in class, and it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I remember reading the blurb and just being like, I am not going to enjoy this at all, not even a little bit. So I flipped to the back of the book and I read the last couple of pages and found out how the book ended and went, hold on a minute, actually I need to know what happens. I have, and it actually worked out for the best because I was so like, I'm not gonna like this. I didn't love the book, but at least I was able to actually read it. Number 10, never have I ever read a book without the dust cover. I can't read books with the dust jacket on. I just find it too awkward. I'm worried that the dust jacket is gonna get destroyed or damaged. So yeah, I never read books with the dust jacket on. So I definitely have done that. Number 11, never have I ever skim read nearly half a book. I feel like anyone who's ever been to university and did an English degree probably has done this. I did it a lot with a lot of the English books. I had to read a lot of the classics. I ended up skim reading a lot of those because they were so boring. It was so boring. But if we're talking about books that I've read for fun, honestly, it probably still would be this. I'm positive there's been books that I've ended up skim reading because I just found it so boring that I was desperate to finish them. So I have. Number 12, never have I ever pretended to read a book that I actually haven't. Once again, uni, high school. The amount of times I told teachers and professors, I've totally read Pride and Prejudice. I've never read Pride and Prejudice. Actually, in high school, we did an entire assignment on Pride and Prejudice. And I remember I watched like a 6-minute video explaining what Pride and Prejudice was. And I remember the comments I got back on my essay were, wow, you really understood the text. And I was just sitting there like, yeah, I totally understood the text. Not even a little bit. I have since seen the movie though, and I got to admit, still not the biggest fan. Number 13, never have I ever seen the movie before reading the book. I definitely have done this. Normally it would be the other way around, but there have been quite a few times where I have, well, not quite a few. Well, I guess a few. So a couple that come to mind are Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I saw the film before I read the book. The 100, I saw the TV show before I read the book. Well, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, I saw that movie before I read the book. And I think there are probably more, but I just can't think of any. But yeah, I have definitely done this. Number 14, never have I ever read a book someone else is reading by peeking in their copy. I've not really done this. I always like peek what I sometimes will be like staring at the cover to try and figure out what they're reading, or I will ask them what they're reading to see if I want to read it too, but I've never like sat there and read something while someone else is reading it as well. That's not me. Number 15, never have I ever had to pay library fees for returning a book late. I have not, and that is because I mostly now just don't get physical copies. I just get ebooks and they just automatically get returned whether or not you've finished it or not. So that's happened to me a couple of times, but I've never had to pay any late fees. And even when I was younger, my mum was like so on top of the library stuff that we never had to pay any late fees. And number 16, never have I ever walked into something while reading. I've totally done this before. I don't mean to, but sometimes, you know, you just get like really invested. Even audiobooks, sometimes I will walk into things while reading them. I can't help myself, okay? It just kind of happens. I mean, we've all been there. Thank you guys so much for watching and so much for participating in this round of the Because We Can Readathon. Honestly, hosting this for you guys is one of my favorite things to do twice a year. I absolutely love it. Obviously, I've not been on YouTube quite as much recently because I have had a lot of personal changes, and getting to come back to do this readathon is just a dream come true. Don't forget, if you've done an entry for today, you need to head on over to the official Because We Can Readathon YouTube channel page, click on the link in the description box of today's video, head over to the Google Sheet, and that is where you will enter the giveaway. We absolutely cannot wait to check out all of your entries for all of the different videos that you have done this week, and also any other entries you have done on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok as well. I have had the most fun hosting this week for you guys. BWC is honestly one of my favorite things to do, and that is never going to change. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know what your favorite part of round 4 of the Because We Can Readathon was, because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.